Hi, this is Hart, and what I'm currently working on is making these envelopes to be exactly the same size. The reason is because once I glue them down, I'm going to have 3 in a row that I fill with goodies for Happy Mail. They'll be glued down and they're pretty on the outside. You can do this with any kind of paper. There's your finished product, by the way. You can do this with any kind of paper, including magazine paper, different forms of junk mail that you might get that are large enough. And you can make these large or small. I have a really big envelope floating around here somewhere. Let's see, here it is. It's a good size envelope right there, and it comes off a 12 by 12 page. It could be even bigger if I wanted it to be, but just remember that if you're making these, you do not want your envelopes to be square because the post office charges you more to make them square. So essentially, this is what I have today. And I'm going to show you one page at a time. This is one-sided paper on purpose. And so what I have is a 9-inch square. I've already trimmed it to 9 inches wide and 9 inches long. You can do this with origami paper too. Okay. Then you're going to take point to point. I learned this from Shelly Lynn at Crafting Mamas. I don't know where she learned it from. And it gives you a little crease on the inside. Do this again. Point to point. But you don't want to crease the whole thing. You just want to know where that middle is. So now that I've done like a little finger poke on both sides, I can see where the middle is. So then on 2 of your sides, and in this case it doesn't matter which 2. In some cases it does matter which 2. For instance, in this one it did, because I really wanted my 2 sides to be simple, and then my fold up side and my fold down side to be pretty. But when it's the same print, it doesn't matter which 2 sides. So I'm just going to fold my point to just that X. You don't want to cross the X because then you're going to have problems. So you want it to go just to that X. You don't even need a cutting mat for this. You only need to be able to cut it into a square. So now you have both sides folded in. This bottom part, if you folded it up perfectly like this, then you're not going to be able to seal it properly. So you want to fold it higher than that middle point, as so. Do you see how it has that little point above? So you're going a little bit higher. See that little point above. You see the same there. You can choose to fold that point down. Now, what size did I want my envelope to be? This is where a board would be nice. I wanted my envelope to be, oh, look at that, 5 inches. So I'm here with 5 inches. And it's actually easier for me if I do it this way. And fold it down towards myself so I get the bottom there. Put a little mark to self. This is 5 inches. This is 5 inches. If you have a scoreboard, that works nicely too. If not, oh well. And go sideways. I'm still targeting my 5-inch line. Right there is 5 inches, and right here is 5 inches. So now I'm going to have the same size envelope to envelope. So the only reason I'm cutting this video, and I do encourage you to see Shelly's video, Crafting Mama, so I'll put a link to her video of where she did the tutorial. You know what, let me ink this to make it a little easier for you to see. Where did my ink go? I am gonna have an ink fit. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna ink this really quick so you can see it better. I know, I shouldn't be using this whole thing. Don't yell at me, don't even think about yelling at me. And I'm okay if my ink is a little rough on the edges here, because the people I'm doing the swap with know me enough to know I'm rough around the edges in my art. I like things to be distressed. I'm also going to ink these edges on the folds. Make that a little darker. Okay. Back to where we were. Okay, now you can see it. And this is why I inked the edges so you can see. So do you see that crease that runs all the way across? This is your bottom. And you see this crease at the top? We don't want this crease at the top. Actually, which one was our bottom? It doesn't really matter. This will be the bottom. Okay, we don't want this crease at the top. Do you see how it goes above that line? You want to trim, there's your line. You want to trim from underneath it at an angle. Let me see. Underneath it at an angle. And then come down. Now, there is my outside. I want to trim just past that line. And the reason I want that is when it's folded over, I don't want it to stick out at all. Does that make sense? I'll do an example. So here, now it's just trimmed in, and there's the difference. This one still has the top, right? So I'm gonna trim up from the side to the point. I'll show you on the inside. Trim up. These are my sides. This is the bottom. Okay. I want to come up towards the top. That way it doesn't obstruct putting things into the envelope. And you see, even if mine aren't perfectly matching, that's okay. It's pretty rare when they do. Then on the inside, so here's my line. Pen. So here's my line, and here's the other line, so you know where the lines are, okay? I want to cut that line off, you see. And the reason is because I don't want this edge hanging over the outside of my envelope. This one's done, and boom, the envelope is done. Now it's not glued. I'll show you how I glue that. Not complicated. All I do is I come up and I just take the edge and the edge. If you have double-sided stick tape that's kind of thin, that would work just as well, and I would actually apply that along this line and up. Let me go get my double-sided stick tape. I'll put you on pause and be right back. Wait, before I get the double-sided stick tape. Do you see how this points up? This might be okay with you, but for me personally, I like it to fold down. And I want to eyeball it until I line up my points. There we go. Until I line up my points with this line, so I have a nice clean finish. And then you can choose to ink that too, just to finish that off. You can choose not to ink it at all. It just depends on what you're in the mood for. You do you, I say. Now you have a pretty little envelope, and let me make another one of these for you, but like I said, I'll put you on pause, grab my double-sided stick tape. Let's make another envelope really quick and show you how easy it is. I am one that likes to see things done multiple times. Let's do this. Go to point, come down, make a crease somewhere along the middle. Point to point, come down, make a crease about the middle. Wide enough that it allows you to see where the center is. Go towards the center and have it just inside the line that you fold perpendicular to that point. Okay? Again, just inside that line, and you're going for that point that allows you to fold perpendicular to the center. Okay? Then, if you don't care about size, you can just wing it. But I want mine to be, what size did I say? I never remember. 5 inches. I want mine to be 5 inches. This paper is cut 9 inches. So I just bring this up, eyeball what looks good. Okay? And you have to make sure you bring it up not here, not to the point, but past the point. Look for my point there. Then this one comes down. When this one comes down, you want it to come down at 5 inches. If you're doing a 9x9, you can have it any size you want. You can even wing it without thinking about the size, but because I want to stack mine, I need them all to be the same width and height. So there it is, done. Now, on the inside, you want this to fold back where it looks visually appealing to you, and for me, visually appealing means it creates a continuous imaginary line. Then I don't show this side, I flip it over. I ink all the edges. Actually, on this one, I feel like I'm just gonna leave it because I like how it blends. So I'm not gonna ink the edges on this one. This one's gonna be nice and clean. And then you finish it, double check your size. Yes, I am 5 inches by just over 6 1/4. Now, for the tape. What you do on the tape is, I do like to have this down. So I'll put that piece down. You won't see me do that on all the other ones. On this one, you see how you're going from your point down here. I am just going to follow I do not want this one to have tape because it'll stick to the inside right here. So I do not want tape there, but I want tape everywhere beyond that point, including that little section. Does that make sense? I'll do the same on this side. And showing you where I put the tape actually does help make it more clear on where to put the other kind of glue. So that's your bottom. Go ahead and peel that off. If you want to ink it now, otherwise you're not going to have that opportunity later. Got them all nice and clean, lay it down, and oh, what a pretty little envelope. Okay, gotta call, hope I can cut that out. So I have my sticky ready. If it was a regular envelope, you'd be ready to just shove your card or whatever you're shoving in there. And I pull it out. Then I line it up above that fold line. There we go. And just rub it down. And doesn't that look cool? So what I have now, if I just wanted to mail 2 envelopes, it could go like this. But no, I don't want to mail just 2 envelopes. I want to mail 3 envelopes. So my next one, do you see how the width here of this fold line to that fold line is a little bit more than a 1/4 inch? I want this one to be a little bit more than a 1/4 inch as well. That's glued down. It's not even all the way glued down. Let's finish this one. You know what? Let's just use the double-sided stick tape because I don't want to worry about it not working because it's going to go through the mail. All right, double-sided stick tape. We're going to do this one more time. It goes on this edge and then on this edge. Burnish it down, burnish it down. Peel up your stick tape. And this envelope is done. There's room to put stuff inside now, and this one is ready to go. Like I said, I line up my fold line on my cutting mat. And you don't have to have a cutting mat for this. It's just, you can eyeball that I want this to be about the same size as that gap. Why? I suppose you don't have to, but I like to. And now you see in this long strip why you want your envelopes the same width. So I'm gonna go ahead and not worry about the bottom of it too much because I know that lines up nicely. And attach this middle envelope. Burnish it down, burnish it down. Attach this middle envelope to the top envelope. Trying to keep it straight. You can use whatever eyeball tool you have for that. If it's a little bit crooked, it is what it is. Oh, did I just? Oh yeah, that's okay. I was worried for a second there. But now you see what I was saying about smallest to largest. You can't even see the other backs, even though all 3 of them have one. 1, 2, 3. It looks beautiful when it's done this way. It might be fun to do scroll work, especially if you're a calligrapher. And then stuff it with the goodies. Mail it off as Happy Mail. Isn't that fun? But like I said, Shelly Lynn is the one who taught me how to do this. And I'll show you later what I put inside. Take care.